Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. In today's video I'm finally going to be discussing my thoughts about BB8 and the dark side equivalent of BB9E, the brand new droids that were added into the latest Star Wars Battlefront 2 update that came out about 3 days ago now. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I have not talked about these yet at all as I hadn't had a chance to play with them until now. So yeah, from now on I'm going to give you my honest thoughts about them, and this is why I haven't included them in the villains ranking and the heroes ranking videos that I've done before. Okay, so coming in we have BB8. So to start off, I just think both of these droids, no matter what my opinion is, you know, over the video, I think both of them are such a good addition to the game. I love that they have been added. I think it's such a unique and different approach to adding heroes and villains, as obviously these are the first droids in the game. I don't think anyone was expecting it. So yeah, I just like to give credits to Battlefront 2 developers in creating these heroes and villains. So yeah, anyway, my thoughts and opinions of BB8. I think personally BB8 is the strongest out of the two. And I think that mainly due to his right ability, which is his charge ability. Other than that, they both have very, very similar abilities in their left ability and their right ability. They both do pretty much the same amount of damage. And then they have a slight variation in their left abilities, which I will talk about later on. So yeah, his BB8's right ability is just a full-on charge, and he goes a bit faster, takes reduced damage, and deals a massive blow of air damage to whoever he hits. I think this is really helpful for both heroes versus villains and infantry-based game modes, as it can get you out of any sticky situation, and it can also be used aggressively as well if you're trying to push a point or just trying to push the enemy team in any way. Moving on to BB8's middle ability, which is probably one of the coolest abilities in the game. I know I say that about a lot of abilities, but he pretty much gets his cables out and starts spinning around and does massive damage to anybody who is in the ring of effect, and I just think it is so cool. Okay, so moving on to BB8's left ability, it is very good in my opinion. Basically what it does is it scrambles enemies' radars so they cannot, their radars just get completely messed up and they cannot see you or your allies. And it also reveals enemies to yourself and your allies, which is also very good. It's practically just a UAV. But very good. If enemies that get affected by this ability take damage, then they are much more vulnerable to damage in the future, so it is a very good ability overall. And personally I think it is a bit better than BB9E's left ability. As I said, they are very similar, but they do differ slightly, and that's why I think overall BB8 is the better droid. Overall they're both just so much fun to use, and I actually find that I do enjoy using BB9 more. I don't know why, even though BB8 is better. But as you can see, he is very good. Yes, I'm playing it online and the difficulty is very low on these enemies, but I am enjoying it. I'm just absolutely tearing these people to shreds. So it shows that you can do well with a little droid walking, rolling around the stage, and it is actually quite satisfying and very fun to use. Okay, and moving on to BB8's passive abilities, which is, I think, personally where these heroes and villains do really shine. They have 3 passive abilities each, which is incredible. All the other heroes and villains have 1, I believe, maybe 2, but I'm pretty sure most of them have 1, if not all of them. BB8's passive ability comes in as health on kill, which is average, which is what most heroes and villains have, but he also has 2 others. The second one being is that when he's actually capturing control points and objective-based points, he actually acts as 2 units instead of just the 1, which makes it much more easy to capture control points. His third ability consists of whenever he's nearby his own allied units, he actually reduces their cooldowns off all their abilities, which is just incredible. So basically, if you've got a BB8 running around your team, all your abilities will be reduced pretty much, and by quite a substantial amount. I'm pretty sure you can upgrade this with star cards. So overall, both these droids are very supportive, but they can also deal out pretty decent damage, as I've shown here. But I just think BB8 is a perfect addition to the game. Anyway, without further ado, moving on to BB9E. Okay, so moving on to the dark side equivalent, which is BB9E, and as I said earlier, my personal favourite out of the two. I just think he is so much fun. Unfortunately, I do not think he is as good as BB8, and I think a lot of people will agree. I feel like the damage is the same, but at the same time it just feels like BB9E's damage is just a lot worse, unfortunately. BB9E plays more of a support role, which is the way I play anyway. He's more of a, you know, supportive villain that can help the team instead of just doing massive damage. As I said though, he can still do a good amount of damage, just nowhere near as much as BB8. So starting off with his right ability, what this does is it prevents his shock prod and also allied blasters within the vicinity of short range from overheating, which is absolutely incredible. Pretty much gives him the stamina bar, it gives him unlimited of that pretty much, so you can just shock forever until the ability runs out, until your heart's content, and it will do massive amounts of damage. His middle ability is very, very similar to BB8's. It just does not deal anywhere near as much damage in my opinion. I believe it's because it has two functions. One of them is the damage, in which it does to nearby enemies, and if the enemies are slightly further away, it can disrupt their blaster fire and also their grenades, so pretty much causing them to overheat and also stopping them from using their grenades and letting them and exploding the grenades pretty much. As for his left ability, it is fairly decent as well. It reveals enemies also just like BB8 does. However, it also releases a smoke screen, which I think is pretty decent. As for his passive abilities, he also has 3, which is very, very good. He has obviously the standard health on kill ability, which is, as I said, average for all the heroes and villains. He also counts as 2 units when taking control of points, so be able to take control of points that much faster with BB9E. His third ability, which I believe to be his best passive ability, is that he heals allies that he rolls past within a close range, which I think is perfect, as basically if there's a big group of your allies, you know, we're trying to capture one point or at choke point, he can just start rolling around them all and pretty much just heal them all up, which is incredible. So yeah, unfortunately, I just feel like the damage is nowhere near as there compared to BB8, but he's still a very fun hero to use and actually very satisfying to use, especially with his spinning ability, with all the electric currents passing by. It is very, very fun. Overall, as I said, I do prefer BB9E. I feel like his right ability is my favourite, as it can literally, you overheat your electric prod and it just deals massive damage to enemies and also turrets and stuff like that, so yeah, it is very good. But overall, that does conclude my opinions on BB8 and BB9E. As I said, I'm very glad they're in the game. I feel like BB9E could do with a bit of a buff. I don't know if that's, you know, going a bit too far. I wouldn't say BB8 needs a nerf, but it's definitely just BB9E who needs a buff in order to get on the same level as BB8. But anyway, yeah, that concludes it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.